friends, it's your favorite Souls masochist, Limerivt, with Elden Ring Nightreign creeping over the horizon like a fog wall you're totally not ready for. I've been thinking, what the heck have we been playing while we wait? Turns out, a lot of bangers dropped when nobody was looking. So today, I'm showing you Souls-like games you probably missed but shouldn't have. From Plague Doctors and Puppets to metal-fueled mayhem, I've got 13 picks that'll keep your Estus flask full until Nightreign hits. Let's get into it before Miyazaki throws another surprise boss our way. Liza P is what you get if Bloodborne and Pinocchio had a moody, violent child. The game released September 19th, 2023, developed and published by Niaowiz, set in the dark, plague-ridden city of Krat. You play as a very stabby puppet looking for your creator, Geppetto. The game's parry-focused combat is tight and brutal. Timing matters more than brute strength. It's packed with eerie automation enemies, twisted lore, and moral choices that affect the ending. Think Souls vibe with a steampunk twist, and a very creepy cricket. The weapon crafting system is also a standout. You can mix and match blades and handles to suit your playstyle. If you loved Bloodborne, this is your rebound game. The city of Krat is beautifully decayed and feels like it was made for you to explore. It's creepy, atmospheric, and honestly a bit unnerving, especially when you're out of heals. If you haven't given this one a go yet, you're seriously missing out, as Liza P received positive reviews for its immersive atmosphere, challenging parry-based combat, and a unique take on the Pinocchio story, drawing comparisons to Bloodborne. However, some critics noted repetitive gameplay and occasional technical issues, which may deter newcomers to the Souls-like genre. This reboot isn't just a facelift, it's a full resurrection. Lords of the Fallen was released on October 13th, 2023, developed by Hexworks and published by CI Games. It gives you two interconnected worlds to explore: Axiom, life, and Umbral, death. Dying isn't the end here, it just means you switch realms, with new enemies and secrets waiting. It's Souls-like with a twist that constantly keeps you on edge. The visuals are absolutely stunning, especially with Umbral, where horror aesthetics are in full effect. There's also full online co-op, so you can drag your friends into your suffering. It's a redemption arc for the franchise, and it works. The combat is challenging but rewarding, with massive bosses that can easily make or break your progress. If you've been craving a deep atmospheric RPG with tough combat, this one should be on your radar. It's a haunting and beautiful adventure you won't soon forget. Lords of the Fallen received generally favorable reviews, with praise for its visually stunning world, innovative dual realm mechanic, and solid combat system. However, some critics felt its story and pacing were lacking, and certain gameplay elements could feel repetitive over time. Thymesia was released on August 18th, 2022, developed by Overborder Studio and published by Team 17. The game drops you into a plague-ravaged world as Corvus, a mysterious plague doctor who dual wields claw and saber. If you like the speed and aggression of Securia, you'll love this one. Combat is based on wound management. Hit fast, don't let the enemy heal, and time those parries or suffer. Wait, the enemy can heal? The enemy design is grotesque in all the right ways, like a biology textbook gone rogue. It's short but replayable, with multiple endings based on your decisions. Thymesia doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it spins it very, very fast. The combat requires precision and quick thinking, making each encounter feel like a dance of life and death. The world is bleak, but the art direction is unique, setting it apart from other Souls-likes. There's a level of tension throughout the game that forces you to always stay on your toes, a hidden gem that deserves way more love. Thymesia received mixed reviews, with praise for its fast-paced combat and unique plague weapon system, but criticism for inconsistent difficulty and repetitive level design. While some appreciated its challenging gameplay and atmospheric setting, others found it lacking in polish and originality within the Souls-like genre. Dolmen was released May 20th, 2022, developed by Massive World Studio and published by Prime Matter. The game brings Souls-like brutality into outer space because dying in alien hellscapes is the future. You play as a space explorer on a distant, bug-infested planet where energy management is key. It blends melee and gunplay with a stamina and energy mechanic that forces tactical decisions. The game also dips into Lovecraftian horror, so expect some cosmic nightmares. Bosses hit like freight trains, and dodging is your religion. The world building isn't perfect, but the combat and sci-fi twists keep things fresh. It's like Dead Space and Dark Souls had a weird little indie baby. The environments are gorgeous and horrifying in equal measure, drawing you into a world that feels hostile and full of danger. If you're a fan of sci-fi and Souls-like combat, Dolmen is one you'll want to check out. It's an experience that'll have you on edge from start to finish. Dolmen received generally favorable reviews, with critics highlighting its lackluster combat, uninspiring world design, and technical issues. While the game attempted to blend sci-fi elements with the Souls-like formula, many felt it failed to deliver a compelling experience. This one's for the Souls fan who also love memes and meta horror. Released on October 19, 2022, developed and published by Over the Moon. You play a literal stick figure in a crumbling pixel world, clinging to nostalgia and dying dignity. Despite its goofy appearance, the combat is solid. Parrying, stamina, dodge rolls, and all the usual Soulsy ingredients. The game is hilariously self-aware, poking fun at game design tropes while also nailing them. It's Dark Souls, but way of Monty Python with better boss fights than you'd expect. There's also loot, leveling, and generally cool story about the decay of meaning. The humor never overshadows the challenge. It's still tough and will punish you for every mistake. The balance between absurdity and intensity is surprisingly satisfying. If you want a game that both mocks and celebrates Souls-like games, this one's got you covered. It's clever, hard, and weirdly heartfelt. The Last Hero of Nostalgia received generally favorable reviews, with critics praising its satirical take on the Souls-like genre, engaging narrative, and charming pixel art style. However, some noted issues with inconsistent combat mechanics, occasional technical glitches, and a lack of innovation in gameplay. Following up on the critically loved Salt and Sanctuary, Salt and Sacrifice goes bigger and weirder. Released on May 10, 2022, developed and published by Ska Studios, you're a marked inquisitor hunting corrupted mages in a dark 2D world. Think Monster Hunter meets Souls, with each mage hunt feeling like a chaotic arena brawl. The platforming is snappier this time, and there's full co-op play. Combat feels more refined with more classes and spells to toy with. There's a learning curve, but persistence pays off. The game's world is filled with dangers and unique challenges, offering plenty of variety in its mage hunting endeavors. Salt and Sacrifice is an absolute must-play if you like the 2D Soulsborne subgenre. The world feels alive and action is brutal. This sequel is a worthy evolution of its predecessor. Salt and Sacrifice received mixed reviews, with praise for its atmospheric world, deep combat system, and integration of Souls-like, Metroidvania, and Monster Hunter elements. However, critics highlighted issues such as repetitive gameplay, lack of fast travel, and a convoluted progression system that detracted from the overall experience. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, is a recent release that's already making waves in the Souls-like / Metroidvania scene. Released April 17th, 2025, developed by Primal Game Studio and published by Knight's Peak. Set in a crumbling world devoured by entropy, you play a wielder of entropy itself. It's a side-scrolling action RPG that emphasizes exploration, precision combat, and timing. The world is gothic, grotesque, and beautiful, all at once. You level up by absorbing entropy and crafting gear with occult resources. It's got vibes somewhere between Blasphemous and Salt and Sanctuary. The combat requires careful timing and strategic thinking as you learn new abilities and uncover the game's deep lore. The world building is rich, and every new area you explore feels like an atmospheric treat. If you're watching this post-Nightreign, this one's a fresh addition you should pick up ASAP. Critics have praised its atmospheric world, engaging combat, and deep customization options. The game offers a rich, interconnected 2D world with multiple classes and skill trees, allowing players to tailor to their playstyle. The narrative is well written, though some found it somewhat predictable. If FromSoftware ever rebooted Kingsfield, it might look a lot like Lunacid, released October 30th, 2023, developed and published by Etheric Games. It's a first-person dungeon crawler with lo-fi PS1 era graphics and a hauntingly surreal atmosphere. You explore the Well, a nightmarish prison of monsters, ghosts, and secrets. The combat is slower but deeply rewarding, with a focus on magic and tactical movement. Every room feels like a threat and a puzzle. There's a cult-like following around this game, and rightfully so. If you love dark fantasy and can handle some jank, it's a unique gem. The world feels dense and eerie, full of strange creatures and twisted lore. It's the perfect game for fans of older, atmospheric RPGs looking for something fresh and immersive. Lunacid received generally positive reviews, with critics praising its atmospheric world, engaging combat, and deep customization options. Team Ninja knows how to do fast, brutal combat, and Wulong proves it again. Released on March 3rd, 2023, developed by Team Ninja and published by Koei Tecmo, set in a demon-infested version of the Three Kingdoms era, you play as a nameless warrior, mastering martial arts and magic. The parrying system here is crucial. Timing is everything. Instead of stamina, you have a spirit gauge that fuels your offense and defense. Bosses are epic, the lore is deep, and the combat is lightning fast. If Nioh was too grindy for you, Wulong streamlines things without losing the bite. One of the best action RPGs of 2023, it'll keep you on your toes, offering a blend of tactical combat and cinematic flair. The intensity ramps up in every fight, especially during boss battles, where every move counts. The game is for fans who love tight, satisfying combat with a heavy dose of mythological storytelling. Wulong Fallen Dynasty received generally positive reviews, with critics praising its fast-paced combat, an atmospheric world-blending Chinese mythology and dark fantasy. However, some noted issues with repetitive gameplay, inconsistent difficulty spikes, and technical problems, particularly on PC. Alright, here's a wild card. A Souls-like with swashbuckling flair? On Guard, released on August 16th, 2023, developed and published by Fireplace Games. The game is a theatrical sword play game where you parry, riposte, and taunt your way through beautifully choreographed duels. You play as Adalia de Volador, a witty heroine with a blade and a sharp tongue. The combat emphasizes rhythm and environmental interaction. Kick enemies into barrels, anyone? While it's lighter than a traditional Souls-like, the mechanics still demand precision. It's charming, challenging, and full of character. Think Pirates of the Caribbean meets Sekiro, in the best way. The humor and unique combat system are a refreshing change of pace from the typical grim dark fare. If you're looking for something lighthearted but still challenging, On Guard is a solid pick. It's a perfect blend of action style and charisma. On Guard received generally positive reviews, with critics praising its vibrant visuals, dynamic swordplay, and humorous tone. The game offers a fresh take on swashbuckling action, blending stylish combat with environmental interactions and witty dialogue. However, some reviewers noted that its brevity and limited enemy variety may leave players wanting more. Despite these shortcomings, On Guard is celebrated as a delightful and entertaining experience for fans of action-adventure games. Grim is a nightmare fuel in the best possible way. Released on August 2nd, 2021, developed and published by Cloverbyte, you play a literal black hole, absorbing enemies to evolve and mutate. The world is surreal, terrifying, and abstract. Part Dark Souls, part HR Giger Fever Dream. Combat is deliberate and hard-hitting, with abilities tied to the things you consume. It blends Metroidvania elements with Souls-like mechanics, making exploration just as tense as combat. There's a real sense of momentum as you unlock new traversal powers. It's one of the most visually and thematically unique games on this list. The world feels alive with danger, and your transformation powers add an interesting dynamic to the combat. If you love challenging atmospheric experiences, Grim is a game you can't miss. It's twisted, imaginative, and as tough as they come. Critics praised its atmospheric world, engaging combat, and deep customization options. Mortal Shell is a compact but brilliant Souls-like. Instead of leveling up, you possess fallen warriors called shells. Released on August 18, 2020, developed by Cold Symmetry and published by Playstack. Each shell has its own status, playstyle, and backstory. The combat is slow, weighty, and relies heavily on a unique mechanic called hardening? A defense stance that lets you absorb attacks. The world is creepy and dense, filled with secrets and weird rituals. It's not as big as Dark Souls, but what there is deeply polished. Great atmosphere, tough enemies, and some excellent boss design. A great Souls-like for people who want something focused and different. The challenge is there, but it feels more deliberate and methodical than most. The feeling of taking on a boss with a new shell adds replay value. If you're looking for something tactical and tightly designed, this is your game. Critics praised its challenging combat, atmospheric world, and unique mechanics like the shell system, which allow players to inhabit different warrior forms. However, some reviewers noted issues such as repetitive enemy design, limited enemy variety, and a relatively short playtime. Elderborn is like Doom took off its guns and said, "Let's get medieval." Released on January 30th, 2020, developed and published by Hyperstrange, this first-person hack-and-slash drops you into a metal album cover full of skeletons, crypts, and death. The movement is fluid, the melee is brutal, and the soundtrack absolutely slaps. It's less tactical than a typical Souls-like, but still punishing if you rush in head first. There's an old-school vibe to the gameplay, but with a fresh twist. It's fast-paced, bloody, and a ton of fun, especially for fans of Doom External or hexing. While it's more action-packed than methodical, it satisfies any Souls fan who loves combat-first gameplay. So there you have it, 13 Souls-like you may have missed, but are absolutely worth your time. Some are brutal, some are weird, and some are just plain fun. If any of these caught your eyes, let me know in the comments which one you're picking up next. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Souls-inspired chaos, as well as hit that notification bell to know when we get new videos coming out. And if you haven't already, head on over to twitch.tv/limerivt to check me out when I am live playing Souls-like games. And hey, you know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way to get lost in a nightmare. Until next time, stay sharp out there, warriors. Goodbye.